Let's get more now on the nuclear talks due to be held between the US and Iran in Oman later today. Tensions between the two countries remain high following Tehran's bloody crackdown on nationwide protests last month. President Trump has built up US forces in the region and threatened military action if Iran doesn't agree to a deal on its nuclear program and stop killing protesters. With more, here's Middle East analyst Dr Rodger Shanahan. Roger, good afternoon to you.
Hi, how are you?
So it wasn't certain that these talks would go ahead, was it?
Yeah, certainly there's been a fair bit of diplomatic toing and froing over the past few days. Initially, talks were supposed to occur in Turkey, but now they have reverted back to Oman, who's been a traditional broker between Iran and regional international partners in the past.
So can you talk us through what's up for discussion?
Well, as far as we're aware, there's the issue of Iran's nuclear stockpile, whether it can be existing nuclear stockpile, whether that can be shipped off to a third country. There's also the degree to which any future enrichment may occur within Iran. Then there's also the issue of Iran's ballistic missile program and what's to be done with that. Also, Iranian support for proxy and supported militia groups within the region, and Iran's domestic approach to protesters. So a number of issues on the table for discussion, and we'll have to see which out of any of those Iran is willing to cede on.
So is an agreement likely on any of those points in your view?
Well, listen, I think from both, the issue for both sides is on the US side, what is your strategic intent? You know you're not going to achieve all of your desired negotiation outcomes in these kind of negotiations, but what for you is your red line? What are you willing to cede on in other areas? I think from the Iranian side, they're not going to cede too much on their ballistic missile program because they understand that that is its main strategic deterrent. On the nuclear issue, it has given ground in the past, and so that is something that perhaps there could be movement on, and that's probably what Iran is wanting the talks to focus on, not the other issues.
So how high are the stakes, Roger? What happens if there's no agreement and if the talks fail?
Well, again, we've got to come back to what is Washington's red line. What do they actually want to get out of this? And I think realistically speaking, it's probably an agreement on the nuclear program, and whatever agreement they get on the nuclear program, given President Trump's focus on past presidents' achievements. He always wants to be seen as somebody who can negotiate a better outcome than his predecessors, and he focuses on President Obama. So I think if he could get a deal on Iran's nuclear program that he can tout as being better than President Obama's, he may be satisfied with that. But the US has been steadily building up its military forces in the region, so they are there to be used. And as President Trump has shown in the past, he's willing to use them, and the Iranians will understand that. So the stakes are high, but there probably is room for negotiation.
Okay. So what's happening on the ground in Iran then? What's the latest on that? Is it possible to know, given the continuing internet blackout?
Yeah, very difficult to understand what's happening in Iran. We know over since that so-called 12-day war last year that Iran has been rebuilding its stockpile of ballistic missiles, which were successful to a degree in the long run, and so they see that as their main deterrent. What the situation is on the street in a country of 90 million people, it's always very difficult to understand what the average Iranian thinks, because it's multi-ethnic society with a number of large population centres. So very difficult to understand what is happening in Iran at the moment.
Rodger Shanahan, good to get your thoughts as ever. Thank you.
My pleasure.